Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing well and keeping safe. If I read the history of aviation correctly, the biggest jump wasn't bonfires to beacons or pistons to jets. It was convincing the public to become the flying public. And that involved changing the perception of flying from something done by barnstormers like Orville and Wilbur to a safe method of transportation that everyone could take part in. The key word is safe. The transportation industry had to prove it was safe. And when it comes to drones, we're now at the same precipice. American ingenuity is showing us that drones bring significant commercial value to America by revolutionizing activities like package delivery, pipeline inspection, emergency response, and countless others. The revolution is already here, and we expect that by 2024, we could have as many as 800,000 registered commercial drones. That's about twice the number of commercial drones that we had last year. But if we're going to realize the vision of expanded drone operations, just like traditional aviation, this industry must show that it can be safely integrated into the national airspace. Safety is the FAA's mission, and as a drone community, it must be your mission too. If you operate a drone, you're a pilot, just like I am. And just one clueless, careless, or reckless drone pilot in the wrong place at the wrong time could threaten others in the airspace or on the ground. I'll give you an example. When helicopters are responding to wildfires, if an unauthorized drone enters their airspace, it poses a direct threat to the pilot who must then stop the mission and land. As we say, if you fly, emergency responders can't. At this event, let's keep safety at the forefront of the discussion, and let's consider how we can collaborate in more ways to safely share the skies. Through the FAA's UAS Integration Pilot Program, which we call the IPP, we've been collaborating with state, local, and tribal communities across the U.S. to conduct and evaluate real-world drone operations for wide-ranging purposes. Through the IPP, UPS and Wing became America's first FAA-certified air carrier operators for drone package deliveries. Wing is partnering with local businesses to deliver products to people's homes in Christiansburg, Virginia. They also partnered with a school this past summer to deliver library books to kids staying at home. And UPS Flight Forward is delivering prescription medications to residents of a large retirement community in Central Florida so that residents with a high risk of complications from COVID-19 do not have to go out. Flight Forward is also showing that it can significantly reduce the time it takes to conduct routine medical deliveries in Raleigh, North Carolina, and near Charlotte. In 2018, State Farm, a member of the Virginia IPP team, operated over people and beyond the operator's visual line of sight to conduct damage assessments following Hurricanes Florence and Michael. These successful operations led to a nationwide waiver to conduct pre-damage assessments. And as part of the San Diego IPP team, the Chula Vista Police Department is using drones to enhance the safety of its police officers and the community by providing a pre-arrival assessment of the situation when they respond to 911 calls. Now, for the first 1,000 missions, average on-scene response time was reduced from about 6 minutes to 2.2 minutes for priority calls. The responding drones also provided information so dispatchers could determine the number of units to deploy, pinpoint the location of suspects' discarded firearms, and follow vehicles under pursuit throughout the city. Also, at Memphis International Airport, FedEx has enhanced its aircraft inspection process by replacing manual visual inspections with drone inspections. Using drones reduced aircraft inspection times from 3 hours to 20 minutes and improved data collection and employee safety. And in the middle of the COVID-19 public health emergency, drones are helping people by delivering medical equipment and PPE to frontline workers. Companies operating under Part 107 also joined the fight. For example, Flytrex and Zipline are using their IPP experience to support COVID response efforts in North Dakota and North Carolina. We were able to approve these drone operations within our existing regulations using emergency procedures. Now, from our IPP operations, we're seeing drones deliver value to the lives of everyday citizens. And the FAA is learning a great deal about how we can safely enable drone use and integrate these aircraft into the National Airspace System. Tomorrow, Eric Amend, Executive Office Manager of the FAA's UAS Integration Office, will lead a panel discussion about lessons that we've learned from the IPP and how these lessons will inform our drone integration efforts. We evaluated a wide range of operations under the IPP program, and based on what we've seen so far, we now need to refine our approach to address specific technical, safety, and security challenges. We're working to establish a remote ID requirement so that drones will provide identification and location information that can be received by the FAA, law enforcement, and anyone with a smartphone. We received more than 53,000 comments on the proposed rule, and we're considering these comments carefully. We're in the process of finalizing the rule now, which we expect to publish by the end of the year. The remote ID rule, which requires an electronic license plate for UAS, will support the finalization of other UAS rules, including the Operations Over People final rule, which will allow remote pilots to operate small unmanned aircraft over people and at night on a routine basis. We plan to complete these rule changes by the end of this year as well. Now, what's becoming clear is that anyone can do Part 107, but that's not enough. We're seeing its limits now. When we talk about integration, the future of expanded business opportunities will be in repeatable, scalable, and economically viable beyond visual line of sight operations, what we call BVLOS. Routine BVLOS and operations over people will need to meet the higher standards of Part 91 and Part 135, where type certification is required. In fact, we recently approved Amazon Prime Air's Part 135 certification to conduct drone delivery operations. And we're encouraging manufacturers to pursue FAA type certification for their unmanned aircraft. We specifically developed a process that utilizes demonstrations of durability and reliability to enable a UAS manufacturer to obtain a type certificate for their vehicle in less time than our traditional process, while nonetheless ensuring an equivalent level of safety. Expanded drone operations will also require detect and avoid capability. Manned aircraft have always operated under the principle of see and avoid to remain clear of other manned aircraft, and now in some cases to remain clear of unmanned aircraft as well. Thus far, unmanned aircraft can't do this. The FAA is working with industry to research detect and avoid technology. Reliable detect and avoid systems, either on-board, ground-based, or from a third-party provider, will enable us to integrate more complex unmanned operations along with traditional manned operations. This will be a game changer. And as part of our Unmanned Aircraft Systems Detection and Mitigation Research Program, we're going to evaluate technologies and systems that could detect safety and security risks that are posed by unmanned aircraft. We plan to test and evaluate at least 10 technologies or systems. The evaluations are expected to begin later this year and will initially occur at the FAA's William J. Hughes Technical Center, located adjacent to the Atlantic City International Airport in New Jersey. We've issued a solicitation for interested manufacturers, vendors, and integrators of drone detection and/or mitigation technologies and systems to support this effort. And after the initial testing and evaluation at Atlantic City International Airport, we'll expand the effort to 4 additional U.S. airports. The FAA also issued another solicitation for airport operators interested in hosting this research and testing. The solicitations are out for 45 days and posted on beta.sam.gov. Now, even as technology advances and changes, aviation remains a people-oriented business. We have to effectively connect drone pilots with the information that they need to operate safely. So we're taking steps in this area as well. In 2019, we had more than 162,000 certified remote pilots, and we expect that number to more than double in the next 5 years. These pilots will increasingly share the airspace with other users, and the safety of everyone in the National Airspace System hinges upon them understanding the rules of the sky and having access to critical aeronautical information. Toward that end, we're modernizing the FAA's Notice to Airmen, or NOTAM system, to more efficiently and effectively communicate aeronautical information to drone pilots. For example, drone pilots need to have access to information about temporary flight restrictions, airspace and national security restrictions, and special use airspace. We're working to provide a single digital data source for drone pilots that is sortable and machine readable. The easier it is for drone pilots to access and use the data, the safer that all NASA operators will be. We just completed a virtual series on aeronautical information and NOTAMs, and I encourage all of you to check it out on the FAA's YouTube channel. Now, all of this work is foundational to realizing the potential of advanced air mobility, where a highly automated unmanned aircraft could transport a person or cargo across town or even between cities. Over the past 2 years, this new sector of the aerospace industry has witnessed a great deal of growth, going from just over 70 AAM aircraft manufacturers in December of 2017 to nearly 200 today. AAM aircraft are not scaled-up drones. The regulations and infrastructure must provide a higher level of safety that applies to any operation that engages in the carriage of people. Integrating AAM aircraft is a huge challenge. This developing sector crosses multiple domains: regulations, infrastructure, technology, operations, and society. And the FAA is including AAM into our future implementation plans and efforts. We've published an initial concept of operations for urban air mobility, which is a subset of AAM, that describes the envisioned operational environment that supports the expected growth of UAM flight operations in and around urban areas. We need to figure out how AAM will fit into and interact with our existing air traffic management system, the types of facilities and equipment needed to support AAM aircraft, and what role automation will play in enabling these operations. We're actively working with stakeholders to collectively identify challenges, gaps, and areas for potential harmonization. We're working with NASA on its Advanced Air Mobility National Campaign to help communities learn about AAM and develop confidence in AAM safety. And just as we've done with our UAS IPP program, we will engage with stakeholders early and often about AAM. This will help us to address safety concerns and barriers to integration so that the general public and local policymakers are on board with AAM operations in their cities and towns. Now, in closing, the FAA is working to facilitate the great innovation in the commercial UAS sector. But this industry can only succeed if it is safe. Safety is a journey, not a destination. We have to continue to monitor, evaluate, and improve our safety approach to drones. Industry and government must continue to work together in this effort. Over the last few years, we've accomplished a great deal together. What more can we do that will add even greater value? How can we collaborate in more ways so that our society can safely reap the many benefits that drones have to offer? This conference will go a long way to helping us answer these questions. Thank you for your leadership, your commitment, and your participation, and I wish you a productive conference.